Hi, it's Josh, and today we'll be discussing stage 2, somewhat known, of the 5 stages of professional influence. Now, this stage is geared towards people who may have begun to gain traction in their careers. Perhaps you work well with others and are starting to get noticed for the value of your specialized help. But you may be struggling to stay predictable and you're constantly putting out fires. Perhaps you're brand new in your first management role, or maybe you've been getting noticed by management and they're beginning to give you more day-to-day responsibilities. You may be up for a promotion and you're simply wanting to improve your chances. Regardless of what you're seeking, if you are looking for more autonomy, more authority, a bigger paycheck, or respect, this is a place that you need to go to work on today. The Influential You podcast is brought to you each week by Influential You's self-guided program, Thrive. The Thrive program allows ambitious adults to develop competitive professional skills to advance their personal goals and business objectives. Get a better ROI than your MBA and join us for the Influential You Thrive program. And if you think what you hear right now on the podcast is cool, just wait until you transact with us in Thrive. Now, there shouldn't be any excuses. You can pause me right now and you can use this code 30 days for a free month to try out Thrive for yourself. The link is in the show notes and you can cancel at any time. Once again, that code, 30 days. Now, let's get down to business. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Influential You podcast. I'm Josh D'Amigo, program faculty member for Influential You and your host for this weekly podcast. Today, we're diving into stage 2 of the 5 stages of professional influence. This stage is somewhat known. If you're unsure which stage you are in your network's career or social circles, we have a free quiz that you can take right now in the show notes. Now, we've entered into a new era where the pandemic has revealed the true promise of the internet. We now have the opportunity to work when, where, and how we want. The traditional metaphor of climbing the corporate ladder has become a relic, and it's been replaced by a career that is yours to define. This is the age of professional influence, where we have the power to design the rewarding careers we desire. In the 5 stages of professional influence that we teach at Influential You, the second stage is called somewhat known. In this stage, you may be early in your management journey, or perhaps you're a mid-level manager who just can't gain respect from the higher-ups in your organization. People may know your name, but you're more than likely not their first choice. Or perhaps you are simply seeking a competitive advantage over other professionals who are also in the same spot as you. Now, right now, your results may not be predictable and you're constantly putting out fires, yet you've never actually sure if your actions are actually leading where you want them to go. I'll say that again. You may not be sure that the actions you're taking are leading you where you want to go. Now, here's the key problems at this stage. First, you haven't accessed the amplifying power of an ambitious peer group. And second, you haven't figured out your aims for your conditions of life. In this stage, you need to focus on understanding the 15 conditions of life and their role in expanding your value and your influence. The 15 conditions of life is a fundamental concept that you'll want to take on. You'll need to know how to define your aims for each condition and, more importantly, how to immerse yourself in the right groups that will encourage and support your well-defined aims. Without these 2 things in place, it's nearly impossible to move forward effectively. It's very important that you work on these 2 things, so I'll say them once again. Number 1, know your aims. Number 2, immerse yourself inside of an ambitious peer group. Now let's talk about these 2 in detail. To move up from the somewhat known stage, it's important to know those 15 unavoidable conditions of life that I've mentioned. This can be a very difficult process when done by yourself. And the problem is that only you are able to tell you whether you're satisfied in any condition. Why? Because they're your personal aims. They're not someone else's aims for you. The 15 conditions of life that we study at Influential You are health, activity, knowing, relationship, career, money, sociality, ethics, education, fitness, aesthetics, environment, politics, legacy, and spirituality or self-actualization. Now, I know that's a lot to remember, so there's a copy of the 15 conditions of life down below in the show notes that you can download. At Influential You, we recommend focusing on defining these first conditions of life. These 4 are the most important conditions, and they are health, my mind and body, activity, what we do with our minds and bodies, money, our ability to exchange in the marketplace, not simply currency, and career, how you're known for your help in the marketplace. Once you define these, you'll start to begin the journey of achieving your aims. And I'm biased, but I think you should study those aims with us at Influential You. Now, after you're able to determine what you want, and trust me, it's not easy, you need to build your own ambitious peer group. This is the team that's going to help you achieve these lofty aims. Now, you may say, but Josh, I don't want to do that work. I don't want to ask for that kind of help. I hear you. You're likely wrong, but I hear you. And it may be harder to do it yourself. But listen, if we have big plans for our lives, it's going to take help. Lots of help. You're going to have to get comfortable with that 4-letter word I keep saying, help. Ugh. Now, you may find your current peer group isn't going to be able to get you to the next level. Remember, this is your life. You decide how it goes. If you're not actively finding members of higher ecologies, mentors, friends in other places, or people with different skill sets, you're simply missing the point of being human. But here's the most important part. You must be in the environment of a peer group that presses you to be the you that you've imagined. I'm being very deliberate with my language because it's not just about being in some sort of a study group. This is about putting yourself into an environment that is designed to help you achieve your aims. Here's an example. Let's say you wanted to compete in the Olympics and do really well. You would first put yourself amongst others that are training for the Olympics. Doing this would begin to have you act like them, eat like them, train like them, sleep like them. You start to get the environment to do the heavy lifting, and it pushes you to be the you you're working on. A well-meaning group of weekend athletes isn't going to get you to the Olympics. You have to find membership in groups performing at or above the level that you desire. As humans, our species has always survived better like this. In fact, just last week, I was reading Napoleon Hill, and in his book, Think and Grow Rich, he studied successful men and the practices that they took on in order to live the lives that they achieved. Not a single one of the people that he profiled was on their own. They did not do it by themselves. And I would assert, neither can we. Napoleon Hill was so serious about this that he even gives an example of creating an ambitious group in his own mind and imagining what Abraham Lincoln's feedback would be, or Andrew Carnegie, or even Julius Caesar. He believed that ambitious peer groups were so important that he recommended locating yourself in a group of imaginary friends over trying to go after things alone. Winning at the somewhat known stage means that you are a part of an ambitious peer group that is reinforcing your well-defined aims. They're holding you accountable to doing the work that you said you'd do, they're witnessing your development, and they're helping guide you with their own qualified feedback and experiences. You also have your aims well-defined, which means you're not wiggling about wondering what is going to satisfy you in each condition of life. Remember, stage 2, somewhat known, means that you are going to have to get comfortable with that 4-letter word help. And by defining your aims and surrounding yourself with an ambitious peer group, you will begin to level up. That's all for today's lesson on stage 2 of the 5 stages of professional influence, somewhat known. Join us next time as we explore stage 3, known. Remember, your career is in your hands, and with Influential You, you can redefine what winning looks like. Now, here's something that I encourage you to do right away. and you can do it right here in the chat. List the names of your new ambitious peer group. They probably want to see this video. And please feel free to share what you've learned with others. My name is Josh D'Amigo, and I look forward to seeing you next time on the Influential You podcast.
Thank you.